Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Elias and welcome back to Skybees. In the last episode, we were working on building a house and yeah, I finished the roof. So here we go. This is our house. Now it's not done. Obviously we're going to put more windows in. I got to do decorating on the inside. I do love these windows, by the way. I love how they open. That is such a cool feature. But there's still a lot of work to do with this, and putting walls in the rooms and actually putting stuff in there. But I finished the roof, so I went with the spruce plank roof, and they act like stairs, so you can make them angled like this. And then at the top we had to use the top roof. That was what looked the best. Unfortunately, because it is a rectangle and not a square house, we can't do the like four roof thing, which I have in here. I tried to use the three-way roofs as well, but it just didn't look good. So this is our house. It looks huge. It looks very blocky. We'll get kind of things done with that. We're going to make it look nicer later, but today what I want to do is a couple of things, mostly Astral Sorcery. So we need to get to work here soon. We don't have too many more quests to do, and most of it is Astral Sorcery, so we're going to try to get this done at least partially today. And the other thing is, you might notice that this is all turned off, and the reason for that is we actually have enough to make our first singularity. However, I still got to do some more stuff. This is the system we're going to use for counting. I just have to figure out the redstone, and I had to do a little bit of troubleshooting. We'll look at that during the day. For getting redstone signals to all the places that need it. And currently I've just disconnected this from the system so that it doesn't try to put items into the quantum compressors yet. So we have a lot of work to do with that, but we need to do some things with Astral Sorcery. So first things first, we need a looking glass, and to get that we're going to need some aquamarine and some stained glass. And let's get all the ingredients together. So aquamarine, we should probably just take a couple stacks of that. Let's get some glass panes. What else are we going to need? Wood and gold. So I guess we'll just grab, I don't know, some jungle wood and some gold. And we'll just work on things as we get there. I have been experiencing a little bit of frame droppage. My FPS has been very much fluctuating between like the 50s and 60s, even up to like 90, and then the super low, 30s and 20s, and that's not good. So let's turn that off, and let's turn this off. I remember what to do, I believe, but I'll figure it out again if need be. And let's get into some stuff. So we're going to need resonating wand. We do have a good bit of aquamarine and glass panes over here already. But first things first, we need to make one of these guys. Get some particles and some noise. And then we're going to need sticks. So we need 4 sticks. Piece of gold, a plank, and the glass lens, and that will make our looking glass, which is the first quest we're going to do. So the looking glass is going to get us all of the constellation papers, and basically what this does is it lets us skip a large amount of things. If we grab this, I don't know how to, so there is a lot of these constellation pages, and there's nothing here anymore. Okay, so I don't think I can like combine them. No. Alright, we need a chest. We should be able to make that fairly easily if we had an actual crafting table. Oh my gosh, this is a mess. So I don't know why we got so many, but we did. and it is causing issues. So let's get all these guys into a chest. Oh my gosh, I can click. I swear it. And yeah, so constellation pages, basically, there is a bunch of constellations up in the sky that we need to know about in order to do stuff with them, to interact with them. And some of them are major, some of them are minor. And I believe we can look at these and we can see what the actual constellations are. If the ones that are nothing here, there actually is. We just haven't unlocked that section of the book yet. Basically, there are three different types of constellations, and the main ones are the major. Those are the ones that we know their names. So Visio, yeah, all the ones that have names. There is also multiples of some of them. Not sure why that is. But yeah, there is a bunch of different constellations, and you can see them all here. So we have 5 major ones, but we can unlock minor ones, and there's bright constellations, there's dim constellations, and some other stuff. I don't remember everything, but unfortunately, that's pretty much all we're going to get to do that night. I was a little bit behind on actually getting stuff done. But more than anything, we completed that reward. And there was a lot of things. So we're also going to need to make a telescope, which is a little bit more complicated. And we're going to need to build this altar. So that is something that we're going to have to do, as well as astral relays, which we can make. So we're going to need glass lenses. Are we going to need more than... So I know for some of the stuff, we're going to need more astral relays than just one. So let's go ahead and make 4. And unfortunately, we have to wait till night. So that is something we're going to have to do. But not a big deal. So while we're waiting on that, let's talk about the singularities a little bit. So I'm going to have to go and cut away and rebuild some stuff before it gets night. But before we do, there's a couple things that we need to talk about. One is we are going to have the timer down below, and basically I'm going to figure out a way with redstone. I'm not too terrible with redstone, but we'll see. We're basically going to have a button up there for when all the lights are on, hit the button, and then it sends a signal down here. We're going to have a system to turn on the counter for 25 seconds and have a constant redstone signal for 25 seconds that we need to then bring back up here. And that is kind of the problem. Bringing the redstone signal back to these exporters, there's not a good way in this mod pack to do that. However, there are these redstone wired conductors. I have tested these. They do work with the exporters, and basically it's Immersive Engineering's answer to wireless redstone or wired redstone. To use them, we need the wire, the connectors, and a screwdriver to change input, output, or channels if we wanted to. So you can have, multiple connections, and we can have stuff like this, not a problem. And we can have, this one is only going to accept lime. You can see the colors change, and that is an output. So this gets an input. If I wanted to kind of demonstrate this, we can actually demonstrate it a little bit of how these work. So let's get some lamps. So I want one more lamp, and we'll grab a lever. We have plenty of those, and basically you have your input, which is going to be the redstone signal. So for this one, it's going to be the lever. For these guys, it's going to be the counter. And if I turn this guy to output, and I don't know if these light up the... Let's actually change this around just a little bit. And I'll show you the recipe for these in a moment. They're not that difficult. I think this will work. So let's get these wired up. And we'll turn this one to just output. We'll turn this one to output but green. And this one is input on white. So theoretically, if I hit that, it turns this lamp on because they're both white, but not this one because it's green. Now, if I was to hit this and change it to lime, it would change. If I change it to yellow, neither of them go on. So a lot of capabilities with this. The recipes for all this stuff is pretty easy. One of the main things that I'm not going to make again is the engineer's screwdriver is just a iron rod and a stick. Iron rod is just 2 iron, or you can metal press it. The redstone wire is a little bit more difficult, but not really. So let's go redstone. Redstone wire is 2 aluminum wire and 2 redstone with a stick. The wire we can make in the metal press pretty easily. So we are going to need that many at least. And then the wire connectors require terracotta, electrum, and redstone. So I will make the rest of those and get those plugged in on there. But I'm going to rebuild the altar, get ready for the next set of quests before it gets dark again, and we'll be back once it's night. Alright, so the day has passed. I fixed the altar, and before we do too much, I want to try to enchant... no, that is not what I want on a pick. I want just a pick that has a couple of things, mostly just fortune. Let's go for efficiency. Fortune 2. That is good enough because we need to do a couple of things. I have some things we need to process. We need to smelt up some star metal ore, which we've had for a while. We got that from iron ore, and that's going to give us some star metal ingots. We also need to break one of these rock crystals and get a bunch of rock crystals. Now, these do not stack, which is kind of unfortunate, but we should be able to start getting into the crafting of things we need to do. And I'm going to be honest, I've not played enough with Astral Sorcery to really, really know everything about it. So I'm still very kind of new to it, so I can't explain everything. I know a good bit, but there's some things that's like, I don't even know what that does. But I wanted to get some more glass lenses, and now we should be able to make the astral relay. So we're going to need some marble, some planks, and some gold nuggets with the glass lens. And now these relays, if I remember correctly, actually will focus the starlight to make our altar more powerful. So we might need these. We might need like 4 of them. We'll see. Unfortunately, the book, I will criticize this mod pack. The book doesn't really say much about the astral relays or anything for that matter, except for the bees. It does talk about the bees a little bit, but it'd be nice to have some information on some of these other mods. But I believe the astral relays, you can make little secondary altars basically to make this guy even more powerful, which we might need. We'll see here in a little bit. But the next thing to make is a telescope, which is another way to use the looking glass. So if we use the looking glass right there, that is going to be a... there's probably some constellations up in here somewhere. And I can kind of just look and see what I can see. However, if we make the telescope, this is something we can put on the ground to do pretty much the same thing. And we can actually shift click this stuff, which is really nice. And let's go ahead and make the telescope. So the looking glass is to find all the constellations, and usually you'd have to do that manually. You'd have to make constellation paper, which is not the... no, what is... You don't need... Do you need constellation paper, or do you need to just use normal paper? I was looking up some stuff. Sharing discoveries. What? Telescope. And yeah, there's ways to get looking glass. Let's look at the looking glass. It probably says yeah, there's some ways to get the discoveries of the constellations, and I'm not entirely sure. A lot of times when I've played with Astral Sorcery, it's been heavily modded, so I don't know everything about this. But you can put this down, and it's really cool because you can look and presumably see stuff, but I think it's storming, actually. So that's unfortunate, but we needed that for a quest. And at this point, we have 3 quests we can do. The Attunement Altar, Star Metal Cutting Tool, which I think is the next thing we're going to go ahead and make. And this is what requires the Star Metal Ingot. We also need some infused wood planks, which... will these work? No. Can we turn these back into... no. Alright, so the infused wood planks, I believe... we throw these in here and give it a little bit of time and it should convert, right? I can't remember. It's been a little bit. No, it's logs, not the planks. So I think we can just throw 1 log in there and it infuses. And then we should be able to... can I just turn that into... no. So what was it I had to do with this? It says Luminous Crafting Table. It just has to be directly in the middle, which is a little... meh. I don't like the shaped recipes with that kind of stuff. But now we should be able to make the Star Metal Cutting Tool. And I do not want to make 2 of those. I only want to make 1. We'll get that taken care of. And then we should be able to try to make the Attunement Altar. Which... that is a flare. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what the flares do. But there is one. And let's see if we can get the Attunement Altar. We need runed marble. So we need our chisel, which I don't believe we have currently. So let's go grab that, because secret, the best way to make this rune marble, actually a stone cutter. That's what we need. Which my stone cutter is over here, I do believe. Yeah. So we are going to need 4 runed marble. And now we should be able to go ahead and make the Attunement Altar. We need an Astral Relay. Okay. And the Attunement Altar is another... we don't have enough starlight. And it's... I believe it's turning day. So let's go ahead and sleep. So let's talk about the things I know what they do. From what I read, very quickly, the Star Metal Cutting Tool will do some cutting to the... I believe we can use this on crystals to cut them, but I'm not entirely sure how. Not something I really care too much about. We just need some rock crystals in general for things like this. So that is something I'm not too sure about. The Attunement Altar that we're trying to make is a way to upgrade yourself, and it's pretty powerful. And then the Celestial Altar is the next tier of altar for this. So in order to make that, we're going to need Stardust, Star Metal, and more marbly stuff. So I will once again return at night And we'll have all that stuff kind of together so that we can hopefully get through that. Now, the bad thing is it's going to replace this Starlight crafting table. Now, the good thing is I believe the Astral Relays, we can make those with that guy, and I'm going to bet that we're going to need them. So personal attunement is what the Starlight attunement. You can also attune crystals to various constellations. I had to think of that word. And the attunement altar is basically a way to make things more powerful and to kind of focus your energies towards certain aspects of the mod. So for example, you can attune yourself to be super fast and all that kind of stuff. I don't care, I can fly, so there's no reason to do that, but the attunement altar is kind of cool. You can also attune these crystals to various things so that they become kind of like this. This one is specifically towards that constellation, Decidia, or Decidia. Not entirely sure how to pronounce a lot of this stuff. But the Astral Relays are something that we're probably going to need. Charge channeling. Oh, hey, it talks about flares maybe? I don't know. There's probably flares somewhere. But yeah, we're going to most likely need to get the Astral Relays. And these things are really good for basically helping get more starlight. And you just need a small structure, nothing too difficult. And due to nature, any starlight crafting apparatus within 16 meters would have the additional gathered energies. So yeah, basically we just put those around here. Usually you don't want to do more than 4, and it makes things really nice and powerful. So I'm going to prep stuff. We'll come back at night and we'll go from there. It is almost night again, and before we get into anything else, we are going to actually enchant this cutting tool because it's useful. And presumably we're going to be using it here in a second. So Unbreaking Fortune 2, cool. I think that'll be useful. The other thing I did was I added this collector crystal and linked it to our Starlight crafting table, and it's already powerful enough to get the attunement altar, and it's just now sunset. So definitely what we needed to do. I don't know why it stopped. Maybe because I like double clicked it or something. I don't know. Anyways, this is going to take a little bit because it's a lot of starlight, but there is the attunement altar. And we're going to put that away and never use it. So we need the star metal cutting tool for doing something with this star metal ingot. And so, we can cut off pieces of the star metal ingot to get, wrong thing I threw on the ground, to get stardust. And it has a chance to break, it looks like, but we only needed 2. And that is going to allow us to make the celestial altar once I get a rock crystal. There we go. Don't really care which one. Now, the rock crystals have different sizes, purity, shapes, tool efficiency. That has a lot of different things that they're used for. And we have enough starlight to make this, so that is actually really cool. Oh, I actually saved a I saved a star metal ingot, which is kind of neat. But yeah, so usually this ritual takes a lot of starlight, but this time not so much. With this guy, and he should still have, so he doesn't work right now because we need to build a different altar, but presumably this will still be connected to this guy, and will still provide us with a lot of starlight for the last 2 crafts that we have to do. And we also got a new thing, so we can go into the constellation. I think, nope, I can't. If I click here, no, okay. There used to be a better way to get, like, scroll through this stuff. And basically there's a lot of things here that I don't really care too much about. There's the Starlight Infusion, which is needed. And we're probably going to need to actually use that because resonating gems are made with Starlight Infusion, as well as celestial crystals, I do believe, which is the other thing we need. Any instance where a rock crystal, a celestial, yes. So by filtering, there's a way to get celestial crystals, and I'm not entirely sure how. Oh, right, it's with this crystal clusters. So we need to submerge rock crystal in a bucket of liquid starlight with a handful of stardust. So there is a lot of things left to do, but I think the first thing we need to do is get the altar for this guy. So let's get that taken care of. So the celestial altar requires this structure. So I need to make this. And I think the easiest thing to do is going to be just to break all of these blocks, and just reset the entire altar. And then obviously I can come back in just a moment and rebuild everything. But we do need to go grab our stone cutter. And I do need to know how many blocks we need. So real quick, let's see, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. We have 21 sooty marble already. This should give us, so we need 28 more sooty marble. So that's not a problem. And, oh, right, we have to make those with coal. I can't just chisel them or stone cutter them. That's fine. So let's get the sooty marble first, and we'll just kind of build off of that. The rest of the marble is easy enough because we have, you know, a lot. But let's get the coal, and we need basically 4 recipes of this. Alright, and then what else do we need? 4 runed marble. Okay, I think we can do that. We need 40 bricks and 12 normal marble. Okay, we can definitely deal with that. So 24, 30, 40 bricks. 8 pillars and 4 chiseled. So we don't need those anymore. 8 pillars and we have the 4 chiseled. Okay. So it's actually cheaper on some things than others. We can put those away. We can put those away. And I think it was 12 marble. Yes. So we'll go ahead and put all of that away. And then it's just going to be a matter of building this thing. So it is a big square, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 by 7. That would make sense. So that's 5, 6, 7. So I think it's something like this. And it's just 2 blocks in each direction, is it? It's 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. I still have 4 more. So maybe I miscounted. Let's see if it's, should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on here. These are always kind of a pain to build just because you have to continuously look back and forth. And then 3 marble in each corner. So that looks right. Maybe I just miscounted. Oh, right. I would have miscounted with the sooty because I needed 28 and I had to make 32. So I should have 4 extra, which makes sense. So we just do this. And then I believe this just goes around like so. We do need to light the area up which we'll do once everything is built. And once we have the final altar, the iridescent altar, that's when we'll start looking into making everything else kind of nice. So it looks like it is rune marble in the corners, 2 pillars, and then capped with a chisel. So 2 pillars, chisel, and then I will add torches to these. But this is the altar that we needed to make. And we are going to need to make another altar. That is not where I wanted that torch. For the Starlight Infusion. But that's not too big of a deal. And this should be, it's happy. Cool. So at this point, we need to start collecting everything for the Starlight Infuser. Which we might actually be able to make. No, wrong one. We need 6 pillars, 4 rune marble, and then a bucket of starlight. 4 runed, 6 pillars, and we are going to run out of time before we can get there. Okay. So that's fine. Let's get rid of this water somewhere. That is always a problem, though. Having an empty bucket when you need it. As I don't think we have enough time. Oh, wait, we do. If we go quickly. Is it enough? It might be. This is a very long craft, but luckily this thing being here makes this super powerful, so we don't have to worry. We can even do stuff during the day like we currently are. This doesn't need as much. This is a very long craft though. So there is the Starlight Infuser, and I thought that was a quest, so it should have said something. Oh, I need to break this. Okay, there we go. And then we can put this back down, and it shouldn't be a problem. This should still have the starlight. It does. And we have our Starlight Infuser. So the last thing we're going to need is to actually use the Starlight Infuser, which requires a 7x4x7. So 7x7 structure. And unfortunately, actually, does this require... No sky access is required for an infuser to work. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to put that in the basement. And so I'm going to build out something down here. And we're going to put the Starlight Infuser down there. And then I also need to start collecting a bunch of starlight. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time. Because in order to use the Starlight Infuser, if we look at the recipe, you need to have liquid starlight. You need 12 of them. These will randomly get used as you kind of infuse things. The big thing that we need to infuse is the resonating gems. And then I also need to look into getting the celestial crystal, which I believe we need the crystal cluster for. And so I think we can go ahead and get that started, actually. I might need some more star metal, but that's not a problem. Can I use the cutting tool on this? No. Okay. So let's just go ahead and go smelt these up. I might need to make more of those. If you don't remember how we made the star metal ores, we just transmute them with the crystal lenses with iron ore, which we can get from a lot of sources now. We in fact have none of it, but we can get the iron ore pieces and do it that way. So the question I have, we don't need any star metal, so we can turn this all into star metal dust. And hopefully get a good bit of it. We got 3. That is not going to be enough. But the celestial crystal, I believe what we do is we throw one of these guys in here with some starlight. And I don't know how much is needed. But you can see it's definitely doing something. And it should use up the starlight, the liquid starlight that's in there. I don't think it says how much is needed. But basically, we're trying to make these crystal clusters. And submerging rock crystal into a bucket of liquid starlight with a handful of stardust. See a rapid boil, and there we go. So we get this celestial crystal structure. Once the liquid starlight and the excess stardust have boiled off, what remains is a small crystal cluster. Exposure to starlight from the sky above or from a link cluster crystal will allow it to grow. So if we look at F3, it is stage 0. Now the question is, if I grab our linking tool, can we link it? Yes, we can. So this will eventually grow and turn into, harvesting the cluster will see more attributes on the resulting crystal than it started with. It will shimmer with light when ready to grow, and basically it's just going to take some time. So what I'm going to do is get more starlight. I'm going to get the structure built underneath here for the infusion, and then we'll get everything ready for making the iridescent altar. And the question I have for that is pretty simple. Do we have enough space to actually have this altar? Yes, we do. So what we'll do is we'll have the altar here, we'll decorate the area around it, have whatever other things we want, and go from there. So I've got a lot of work to do. I will be back once it's all done, and we'll try to finish up the Astral Sorcery quest line. Alright, so it is not quite night, not at all, and we are pretty much ready to kind of finish things up. Now, something I did between clips, it's been a little bit for me, it's been a couple hours. I had dinner and all that kind of fun stuff, but I went ahead and I finished getting all the apiaries placed down. So every single beehive now has an apiary. Most of them are level 1, but we are getting a lot of stuff coming in, which is fine. And honestly, it's doing well enough to keep up. Even if it puts a lot of the same thing in there, it's whatever. So yeah, we are getting a lot of resources coming in, which is great. And I have started placing some stuff for what this area is going to end up looking like. So I think what we're actually going to do is use this blaze quartz, which for the record is pretty easy to make. It is just quartz and blaze powder, and it's 1-to-1 for the quartz, and you can also get it from the blaze quartz blocks if you want the actual item, but 4 items makes a block just like normal quartz. I've also linked this guy to all of these guys to help them produce the starlight a little bit faster. This guy needs another aquamarine, but I think we have enough for now. And the reason I went with the blaze quartz is because down here I went with blaze quartz, and I think just having the starlight is going to be enough to keep this place lit up. So we might actually get rid of the torches. I don't know. Trying to figure out something good with lighting all of this stuff down here. And I believe Britannia has some really cool looking lights. I don't remember if sparks put off light or not. Something I don't remember. There's also luminizers. Those might actually work, but I don't remember. There's a lot of things I don't remember what specifically they're used for in Britannia. There's something that's really, really cool that we might show off at some point. But yeah, I don't remember what light sources there are for those mods. So it's something I'll look into, and it might be something we do another time. But just putting some lights down, I think we could probably get rid of like most of these torches, just because the starlight is bright enough that it's going to illuminate down here and look nice. So that is probably what we're going to do. But this structure was pretty easy. It's just marble, rune marble, chiseled marble, some pillars, and a block of lapis in the center. And then we need all this liquid starlight around, and this will get randomly used up, which is kind of unfortunate because it doesn't really tell you that it's used. But I also might make this platform just one bigger, So I have a little bit more space to maneuver, but I did make a couple more light wells, and the main reason for that is just because we're going to need the starlight. Might as well have extras. And honestly, once we get done with making all this stuff, I'm gonna see if I can unlink those. I don't think we need to have them linked. So let's see if that is a thing. So we just want to unlinked. Okay, there we go. That works. So basically, we're going to need extra light wells because there is a chance that we'll use up some of the starlight down below. But ultimately, I don't really care too much because once we make the iridescent altar, I'm going to build the actual structure for it and then probably not touch Astral Sorcery again in this mod pack unless we need to. Now, one thing I do want to grab is our fortune pick, just in case it matters, because we should be able to collect this guy now. It is fully grown, and you can see there's some sparkles coming off of it, so it should be ready to be collected. And we get some stardust and a celestial crystal, so not bad. I'll take the stardust, and from there I think we have pretty much everything we need except for the resonating gems. So yeah, that is the only thing we need. We need to make 4 of those, and that is what we need the starlight infuser for. So we just put them on here one at a time, and I don't know if we need to... Okay, so we do need to hit it with the resonating wand, and you'll see it just kind of has some nice effects and sounds, and then it makes our item. And then this time it didn't use any starlight, which, by the way, if you jump in the starlight you get night vision. Makes sense. But if you put an item on here and you try to click it with the resonating wand and it doesn't work, you're probably missing some starlight somewhere. It's hard to tell sometimes if it uses the starlight. Doesn't look like it has, and I love the effect of the starlight. It looks really cool. Astral Sorcery is a very pretty mod. That is, without a doubt, it might be one of the prettiest mods out there right now. But yeah, right there, it just used up that starlight. And so if we try to put another one on here, it's not going to work. The altar is no longer whole. And you can see how difficult, you can see the clear lines, and it might be because of how I play. I do not play with, what is it called? Smooth lighting. I dislike smooth lighting. I've been playing this game too long to use smooth lighting, and it might be a little bit because of that and some of the settings I have, but in general, it's just kind of hard to tell that it used the starlight. So you just kind of have to watch it, because you'll see the, block disappear, and it's random as far as I'm aware. So yeah, it just used that one. So I will go ahead and fill those back in, and we should be close to being done with, well, this episode actually. So yep, that one needed it. Alright, so presumably we can throw this down. And it's going to need a lot of starlight, so we'll see if we have enough. We might not. And I do believe that is the only thing left for our quest book in the Astral Sorcery. So I don't think there's going to be too much more use for Astral Sorcery in this mod pack. I really don't know if there's any in-game type of things that we're going to need to make. But I'll probably use the blaze quartz for the rest of the area, make the structure look nice and all that kind of fun stuff. But yeah, we'll have to see. So you know what? I'll keep the fortune pick over here. I don't really have too much use of it otherwise, so it's fine. And we shouldn't have any problems getting enough starlight. Typically, if you need starlight for a ritual with Astral Sorcery, midnight is the best time. The exact midnight when the moon is at the very top, you'll have the strongest amount of starlight. But we have this collector crystal. It makes it easy. So we should be able to upgrade this guy. Did it, like... Okay, there's phantoms after me. Let's be on the ground. Okay, I don't know why it doesn't like me, like, flying. This is really cool effects. I love it. But this is going to change our celestial altar into the iridescent altar. And I'll have to build the structure. And I'll probably do that between episodes, but... yeah, this is a very complex altar, and one that I've actually never used. So let's just pick it up. And that is the chapter completed of Astral Sorcery. So we don't have to do Astral anymore. We are done. This is really, really strange. What can we do with that? We can make a containment chalice. We can do different constellations. There's probably some really cool stuff we can do. And one of my things just broke. That's fine. But yeah, so this is something we're probably not going to end up using. But I will need to go ahead and... so there is the Radiance. The Radiance chapter has all this stuff. I know the Mantle of Stars is a very powerful thing. And to actually use this altar... with the successful crafting of the iridescent, the Academy would like to welcome you as a full-fledged, yeah. So yeah, there's 3 different types of constellations. There's bright, dim, and faint. Faint are really hard to like acquire, but I think that's what a lot of these are that are like nothing's here. But yeah, there's a lot of things you can do. And I'm not entirely sure how it all works at this point. Like I said, I've never really played too much with Astral Sorcery outside of like Sevtech, which is heavily modified. But yes, I did actually spell that correctly. Iridescent altar. The actual structure is not too much different than what we currently have. It just looks like some stuff added on top. So there's a couple more blocks here and then a few more blocks above. So it shouldn't be too bad to modify. And relays can be placed on the sooty marble of the altar structure. They allow for specific items to be placed during the crafting process when requested by the altar so that their essence may be infused. And that's what, like, if we look at this, it wants the aquamarine in these spots. So it gets complicated on how to make them, and then sometimes you need to use the power of a certain constellation, and it's complex stuff, and we're probably never going to actually get into any of that or do anything with it. So that all being said, we are done with Astral Sorcery. This chapter is completed, so the only things we have left is making a tier 4 apiary, making the rest of the storage parts to make the infinite storage disk from refined storage, killing a bunch of monsters, which is something I'll have to do, and making the creative items. So, next episode, what we're going to do is we're going to get into the beginning of making creative items, and we'll probably end up having to build some more. We'll probably end up building some more. But I'm going to finish up getting all this ready so that we can hit the button and produce the singularities, the ultimate singularities. Obviously, we'll still have to go, like, craft them. But outside of that, like, we need to kind of finish up some of these areas, make them look nice. And that's about it. So I need to kill monsters. That's something that I will probably work on gradually as I'm working on other things. And waiting for more supplies to get ultimate singularities. So it's really just going to be about waiting on the bees at this point, and we're pretty much done. Because once we have a creative vending upgrade, and I believe it was 25 of these ultimate singularities in total, we can make everything, because then we can mass produce the creative vending upgrades. Then we can then make a drawer full of those and make a drawer full of whatever we want. All these storage parts, we just pick one, a 64K or whatever the largest one I currently have is, and we make infinite of that. Once we have the creative vending upgrade, this mod pack is going to be done. So it's just going to take probably an episode or two to finish things off. Probably the harder part is going to be dealing with all of the monsters, and specifically things like the Wither and the Ender Dragon. Although we've killed 11 Withers at this point, so that shouldn't be too difficult. Enderman, Blaze, Gas are going to be a little bit annoying, just because of space, but we could still use the same kind of principle, and then killing 20 Ender Dragons is going to be a pain, but all things considered, it could be worse. The Ender Dragon is not that difficult, and we could make some fun toys to make it really easy. So, that all being said, that's going to be it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We got through Astral Sorcery. I'm not going to explain Astral Sorcery like I did other things like Planologistics, just because I don't know it as well. But it is a really cool mod. It's a very pretty mod, and you can have a lot of fun with it. It's just not as powerful as some of the other things. It's a little bit less broken in that sense. But yeah, I'm going to finish building that altar. I'm going to probably make that area look really nice with all the blaze quartz and kind of set things up. And I'm going to work on the singularity machine and go from there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!